Studio Ghibli's Spirited Away. Well, I'm sure I won't get into trouble talking about this film on the internet. Hi, my name's Drew and welcome to another review video on Flying Wiener. Now don't worry, that was a very clickbaity intro, when the fact is that I really like the film, which I'm pretty sure the majority of the internet will agree on with me. Yeah, I just felt like saying it. But at the same time, while many people have got Spirited Away on their best of list, as in the best film that Studio Ghibli has made, I'm not quite convinced. I think that I still prefer My Neighbour Totoro a wee bit. I mean, that being said, I've only seen Spirited Away once, and it is quite an overwhelming film, so maybe on a rewatch or so I'll change my opinion, because there's a lot going on in that film. I'm really excited to be exploring the Studio Ghibli films. I've only seen a handful yet, so this was the fourth one. Very recently, I did a review on Grave of the Fireflies, which basically is on the other end of the spectrum, where this is a really positive, uplifting film. Grave of the Fireflies is one of the most depressing ones I've ever seen. Incredible what this studio is capable of. There is no doubt though that Spirited Away is an incredible achievement, whether you're talking, or particularly when you're talking about the animation, but the story itself, the creativity that's in it when it comes to the design work, but also just how, you know, we're able to really go on this journey with a small 10-year-old girl and really, you know, feel for her and be cheering her on this journey that she's going on. I think it's a really, really cool film in any case, you know. I also find the title very interesting because, well, living in Austria, I always also see the Austrian or the German titles for films. In English, it's called Spirited Away, and the German title is Chihiro's Reise ins Zauberland, which basically means Chihiro's journey to the land of magic, which is a very apt description of what is going on in the story. But Spirited Away is also interesting because it really points to one thing that is very central to the whole story, which are the spirits, the kami, which in Japan, as far as I know, but you know, I'm not an expert, is generally a very important topic culturally for thousands of years, and even partially today, is my understanding, people still hold these spirits up high, you know, in regard. So definitely an interesting insight into a culture. But let's talk about the whole thing, shall we? I think that's a very good point to do that. So we are focused on a 10-year-old girl. Her name is Chihiro. She is moving house with her parents. They are actually on their way to the new house. They kind of take the wrong road, end up in front of this huge, mysterious building, seems deserted. They go in. Chihiro, she's quite hesitant because she's a bit scared of the place, you know, there's no one there, there's no lights on. She's like, let's turn around, let's not go. Her parents are quite curious though, because they're not in a rush. They're like, oh no, let's go and explore. They then, by walking through this place, they stumble upon what is basically a small city, also deserted. Suddenly there's food everywhere, they start eating it, and then the magic happens. Her parents are suddenly turned into pigs, and suddenly there are spirits everywhere. Chihiro tries to run away, can't find her way again, and then we have a person called Haku, who is this boy who wants to help Chihiro. He explains to her, you know, this is a magic place, she can't leave. If she wants to, you know, she has to try and somehow save her parents. Now, the whole place, the whole story is centered on this bathhouse there, which in itself is a really cool thing. I didn't expect to be half as interested in bathhouses, but it's just a really cool place where everything happens more or less in this story. And one person is in charge. There's this witch, her name is Yubaba. She's in charge of everyone. She actually turns everyone into all sorts of things. She is also the one who turned Chihiro's parents into pigs. And basically Haku explains if Chihiro wants to not only leave this place, this world, but also save her parents, she will somehow have to go through Yubaba and do it somehow with her, you know, as in somehow be in her favor to somehow get her parents back. Yes, so Chihiro, to achieve this, starts working in the bathhouse to obviously gain Yubaba's favour, and we see her exploration of the spirit world. She stumbles upon many, many very different spirits. Yeah, we'll talk about this design in a bit. Yeah, and it's really interesting to watch her journey because basically we see where from the start she was really, well, I wouldn't say cowardly, but just, you know, typical kid. Very scared, not really sure of herself. We see her not only gaining a lot of confidence, finding her courage, but also finding the motivation to try and help others on her journey, right? And it's really cool to watch that. That is pretty much, I'll tell you all about this story. You'll have to discover the rest for yourself. I mean, there are no big plot twists going on. There aren't really any huge spoilers I could make, I feel, but still, I think you should go on this journey with Chihiro on your own to see what it's all about. Now the animation, of course, I mean, Studio Ghibli is famous for, even today, still hand drawing all of their animation, and it is really beautiful to watch. I mean, for instance, if you take this witch Yubaba, but there's so many other characters in the film you might be familiar with. I mean, even I was, even although I didn't see the film until just recently. It's this witch, she's got this oversized head. It felt very familiar as soon as I saw it. And just watching the animations, you know, in connection with her when she turns her head and her eyes when they're going and all that, it is really just very magical to look at. The whole world they've built here, not just the actual spirits, but the whole, you know, just the surroundings, it's all so beautiful. You just want to dive in and be there, you know. You want to be there, eat the food, you want to be in the bath, you know, because it all looks so wonderful. The design work, I mean, so creative. I mean, I'm not really familiar with the kami, with the spirits, the Japanese spirits, but it's just so creative, the design of all of them. And it must have been so much work just to get it all done. Because there are some frames where we see so many in just one picture. And, you know, there's not a fault, and you'd actually have to pause the film all the time just to really take in every frame, because it's that amazing, that beautiful, so much going on. But not only that, they have really crafted, it's a very simple story, which I feel is something that's sort of a recurring theme with at least the Studio Ghibli films I've seen until now. The stories themselves always feel very simple in nature, but that doesn't mean they're bad. It's just that it just reminds us that we don't need these oversized stories. It doesn't need to be a world-ending thing. Here we've just got a girl, she just wants to get away and just save her parents, and that's all she wants to do, right? And although we've got all these spirits and everything surrounding her, it still doesn't really get, you know, the story doesn't become more than just that. So the core is intact from start to finish, and it's really great. Like I say, watching this young girl finding her courage and other things, and her affection for others, all these kind of things, we see develop naturally in the story. So they've crafted a wonderful thing here. You've got the music accompanying every moment, every step of the way. It fits so well. Yeah, not overbearing. So it wasn't, to me at least, it wasn't noticeable throughout the film, but always here and there sort of really putting a nice little touch on various scenes to really enhance them, which is what you want from music, really. It should make its presence known. Yes, so like I say, to me, I would actually have to say Totoro is still a bit ahead of this, even although I realise that there's so much more going on in this film. But again, maybe on a rewatch or so it'll be different. But I'm not really into ranking films. They're both incredible films. Don't see why you should pass on any one of them either. But this is definitely a very high recommendation from me. I mean, it's also the film that put Studio Ghibli on the map, as it were, because this became a huge box office hit, not just in Japan, but everywhere else worldwide. I mean, I heard about this film so many times, so it was obvious to me I have to watch it at some point. And you should too, because it is an incredible journey. I really should watch it again, because I feel like on a second time watching, you're not just so dumbfounded with all the new stuff going on and like, oh right, there's just as an example, there are three heads just hopping along the way. You know, they're not scary or anything. They're just three heads. They don't have any bodies and just hop around going hop, hop, hop all the time. It's just one of the many really weird things in this film. So yeah, I should watch it again to not be so distracted by all the design work, etc., so that I can take in even more of it. And this is probably a film you can watch so many times and discover something new with every watch. So definitely very cool. That'll be all from me today. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe. It is the best way to support this channel. Leave a comment down below about anything you want to say, Studio Ghibli related or Spirited Away related. You know, have you got your own ranking? What is it? Is Spirited Away your favourite Ghibli film, or do you have another? I mean, I bought so many, not all of them, but I bought like another good 8 or 9 Studio Ghibli films, so I've still got a few that I definitely want to get through. So every now and then, I will definitely also share them with the channel when I do get around to watching them. So anything you want to say, put it down in the comments below. Other than that, I'll thank you for watching this video. I'll leave a link to my review of The Grave of the Fireflies here if you want to see that review, but really be warned that it's a very, very different film. It really is on the other end of the spectrum. It can shatter your soul, so really tread with caution. I'm serious about that. So I'll thank you for watching this film, and I'll see you in the next one on Flying Wiener. Take care.